JFK Airport in New York was bustling early in the morning. Ticket lines, coffee shops, security checks, everything was operating swiftly and efficiently. Many people rushed through the airport, feeling lost due to its vast size. Sounds blended together like a complex orchestra. The chatter of children, loud phone conversations, luggage carts, announcements. Amidst this chaos, Dwayne Johnson, with his broad shoulders and recognizable face, was part of the crowd, but also felt very much apart from it. Today was different for Dwayne. As someone who was usually in constant motion, today he was focused on just one thing: his inner journey. One of Hollywood's biggest stars, the weight of being recognized worldwide had its toll. However, in recent months, this fame and success had left him with a sense of emptiness. While everyone admired him, he felt alone. He hadn't really felt like himself or fully connected with the world. In that moment, like the vast airport around him, he felt lost within the crowd. As he headed toward a cafe to grab a coffee, his eyes accidentally landed on a family. The mother and father were with two young children. One of the kids was crying, and the other was nervously scanning their surroundings. The family seemed quite distressed. The mother was holding her child, trying to calm him down, while the father kept pulling his wallet from his pocket and checking it repeatedly. Dwayne watched them for a moment. The children's eyes were filled with fear. As the mother wiped away her child's tears, the father continued to check his wallet, trying to calculate the missing money. But no matter how much they tried, they couldn't find a solution. The family appeared helpless. Dwayne, holding his coffee, continued to observe them. Something stirred inside him. A long-lost feeling, a desire to help, began to resurface. Many people had been in difficult situations, but none had looked at him with such desperate, fragile eyes. Slowly, he began to move. He stepped toward the family. As Dwayne approached, his unease grew. The anxious glances of the children and the helplessness in the parents' eyes spoke to him. In that moment, he felt a protective instinct. This was something so different from the glamorous world of Hollywood. One of the things Dwayne loved most in this world was the feeling of being able to help others. But he had a strong sense that helping this family would mean something much more than he had expected. He lowered his head for a moment, then took a few more steps and walked up to them. The mother was still trying to calm her crying child, and the father kept checking his wallet. The family looked like they feared losing something at any moment. Dwayne, approaching them carefully, took a deep breath. His inner voice told him, "Go ahead, speak." Dwayne first spoke to the father. "Hello. Is there anything I can do to help?" The father looked up at Dwayne in surprise. He recognized who he was and exchanged a quick glance with his wife before turning back to Dwayne. At first, he didn't trust him. After all, he was face to face with one of Hollywood's giants, but he wasn't sure how to accept help from someone like him. "Thank you, but we don't have a solution," the father sighed, his eyes cloudy. "We missed our flight and we're out of money. We don't know how to get home." The mother silently nodded as she continued to soothe her child. The child occasionally cried, but there was still a look of concern in his eyes, despite his mother's attempts to comfort him. Dwayne took a moment to absorb their pain. The weight of their despair was palpable. "This is a tough situation," Dwayne said, his voice filled with empathy. "When you face something like this, it really feels like your world is crumbling." The mother, still skeptical of Dwayne, nodded slowly and replied, Yes, I can calm my kids down, but what am I supposed to do? We're out of money and we've been stuck here for so long." The father, once again reviewing his wallet, said, "I've come to terms with the fact that there's no solution. But still, this is really hard. No one seems willing to help us." Dwayne, now more determined than ever, took another step forward. With a gentle smile, he spoke. "You're not alone. Asking for help can be hard, but sometimes all you need is to reach out and trust others." He took a deep breath and looked at the family. "I can offer you something," he said. "I can help you. Let's fix this together. It'll only take a few minutes." The uncertainty in the family's eyes began to slowly fade. The mother looked at Dwayne one last time, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Really? Can you help us?" she asked. Dwayne smiled warmly. "Yes, I can help. I'm here to help." Sometimes people have a hard time accepting help, but trust me, just trust me. The mother and father exchanged a glance, and the fear in their eyes slowly started to fade. Yet, they still struggled to believe what Dwayne was offering. Their situation was so dire that they couldn't quite bring themselves to accept the offer. Dwayne raised his hands gently. "Follow me. We can fix this in a few minutes. This is the only thing I can do right now, to help you." The family listened closely to his every word. Dwayne's demeanor not only showed his willingness to help, but also conveyed that he understood their struggles. The mother and father exchanged one last look and slowly, cautiously, nodded in agreement. Dwayne, with a reassuring nod, walked ahead and pulled out his phone, quickly tapping a few keys. Amid the chaos of the airport, where voices, footsteps, and people collided, Dwayne moved swiftly, making a call, his every move guided by a quiet confidence. On the other end of the phone, a customer service agent from the airline quickly recognized the seriousness in Dwayne's tone. He spoke clearly, his voice firm but kind. "Yes, this is Dwayne Johnson. I need to urgently arrange a ticket for a family to fly from New York to Los Angeles. What do we need to do?" A few seconds of silence passed before the agent responded, her voice rising slightly. "I understand. It'll take a little time, but I'll find a solution quickly." Dwayne, never taking the phone from his ear, turned to the family. "Just a few minutes," he reassured them. "I'll find a solution for you." The father, still skeptical, looked at Dwayne while the mother hesitated before asking, "Thank you, but how will you do this?" There was still doubt in her eyes, but a hint of hope as well. The children were quiet now, but they were starting to relax. Dwayne nodded reassuringly. "Sometimes it takes a little time for people to accept help, but the right solution is always out there," he said. "And believe me, you're lucky today." He felt in that moment, more than ever, that he was exactly where he needed to be, to change someone's life. The phone conversation continued for a few more minutes, and when it finally ended, Dwayne read the information on his screen, nodding thoughtfully. "The tickets are arranged. Your flight to Los Angeles departs in just 30 minutes." The family was momentarily speechless, unable to believe what they had just heard. The mother squinted at Dwayne and asked, "Really? Are you really going to send us to Los Angeles?" Dwayne smiled. "Yes, really. Your flight is booked. You don't have to worry about getting home. Relax now. Everything will be fine." The family exchanged looks, nodding in amazement. The mother, taking one last look at her children, whispered, "We'll never forget this." Even though they're not completely happy, seeing my children safe means everything to us. The father, taking a deep breath, turned to Dwayne, gratitude filling his voice. "People like you really can change the world. Brother, we owe you." Dwayne nodded graciously. "Life can be tough, but no matter what, we can do it together. Helping others, improving someone else's life. It's always worth it." And with that, the family thanked him once again and quickly began preparing for their flight, their steps now filled with a renewed sense of hope. The family looked at Dwayne with great astonishment and gratitude. The mother, with a mixture of skepticism and hope in her eyes, asked, "Really? How did you manage to do this?" Dwayne smiled gently and said, "Sometimes helping others, no matter how big it seems, can be very simple. Some people just need others. Sometimes a single step, a small kindness, is enough." With tears in her eyes, the mother said, "We'll never forget this. The happier my children are, the more at peace we'll be." The father nodded, saying, "Dwayne, we're truly grateful to you. Something has happened here that will change the way we look at life." And he took a deep breath. Dwayne replied, "Life is more beautiful with help. And sometimes, when we need each other, taking the right step at the right time can change everything." And he slowly turned away from them, beginning to walk off. The family, feeling secure and a little more at ease thanks to Dwayne's help, began to make their final preparations for the flight. The children had been freed from their fears and were much more relaxed. The mother and father exchanged grateful looks, still amazed by Dwayne's kindness. Dwayne, after watching them for a moment, collected his thoughts and quickened his pace. His thoughts still echoed in his heart. True kindness isn't measured by money or power. It's about touching someone's soul. As he moved through the crowded airport, heading in the direction he was going, Dwayne felt a sense of peace in his heart. Sometimes, Simply extending a small hand of help to others can change the world. That day, he learned once again. Helping doesn't just contribute to others, it also contributes to your own inner peace. As Dwayne looked around, he realized that with this act of kindness, he had made the world just a little bit more beautiful.